September 22, 2025. This is the S&P 500 E-Futures Mini on the 2000 tick chart using NinjaTrader 8. This is what the chart looked like today. There was no economic data to really move the market. Volume today was a little lower. I didn't draw this big red up channel until later. By then, it didn't really help. And even if I found it earlier, I'm not sure it would have been too helpful because it really only looks like it fits nicely on the high side. So it's more of a trend line resistance. But as a resistance, it's not useful on a day like this where everything was pretty much bullish. So there was very hard arguments to be made to go short. And then anything to try to go long and use this lower side, well, it never came back. So it never really acted as a key entry point. So it's just an interesting outline. I'm gonna go ahead and just delete it for now. There were these smaller channels that I found. And despite these big legs and these big moves that look very clean and nice, there weren't very many setups I could find. There was one setup and I took the trade. Unfortunately, it was a loser. And I'll explain what I was thinking in real time, as well as in hindsight, I thought it might have still been a reasonable trade that just didn't work out. Or there's might be something there might be a knowledge gap that I'm not seeing that should have told me, hey, don't take this trade. And there was kind of an almost setup over here. Other than that, there were really no other setups that I could find. So I'm gonna get into the trades right now. So the pre-market, it looked like there was a couple legs down, this big push down, overshoot on this side, a strong recovery, a strong response back up, two legs down, kind of hits this small consolidation area, makes a first entry short, and then it starts moving out on the open. Second entry short here, second entry short, failure. So this is what I see in real time, or what I am able to trade real time. So it pushes up on this orange up channel. No second entries available. It's a new high. Technically, you have a first entry long pullback, second entry long right here, but it's below the EMA, and it's a terrible signal bar. So I'm looking for a potential higher low above the EMA. You get a higher low here. It is above the EMA, but seeing this in real time, I'm not looking to take a trade here. Pushes up. At this time, I do draw this as a yellow up channel. It has pretty good confirmations here and then up here. Fortunately, I'm only looking for long, so I'm looking for any bounces here and a confirmation, which would be good. You have a new low, first entry short. Technically, you have a second entry short here, bad signal bar, skipping. Prices move up. This is sideways consolidation. You have a second entry long here, but it's a bad signal bar. It didn't bounce off the EMA. There's not that much room from here to here because it's a very tight range. So it's just very, very hard to take. Kind of pushes up, continues moving up, comes back down. It's a pretty much close enough touch bounce. I think let me go ahead and, actually it is drawn, it never moved. So it's a pretty close enough touch bounce, but you really have a first entry long pullback. You could have a second entry long here. So actually you have a first entry long pullback. I guess you could technically say it's second entry long hidden, but I wanted a cleaner, more definitive second entry long because it never actually broke below. You could say it's bouncing off this yellow up channel. So maybe there's a trade here, but at the time, I'm just going to mark it with a arrow. At the time, I wasn't sure. I wanted something a little cleaner, more definitive, more clear, visible second entry. If you're more experienced, you might have tried to take this trade. Plus, this is technically your signal bar and doesn't look that good. So actually, it works out. But now, if I get a higher low, I'm concerned that I'm going to hit the highs right here. You do get a higher low, it's a doji. So in real time, I see it, I don't quite like it. Plus, if it had bounced off this EMA and the yellow up channel support, it'd be a stronger argument to take the trade. So of course, it moves up, pushes up, no trade yet, hits the high side. Looks pretty good because it looks like it's confirming the low side and the high side now. You have a small overshoot. It may or may not count. First entry long. Technically, you have a second entry long here, but it wasn't a good signal bar. This is kind of gets pretty much to where I'm thinking about taking a trade and actually set up a trade. Actually, checking my notes, I don't have the trade yet. So actually, first entry long pullback, second entry long, this could be a higher low, but this is your higher lows right here. So actually, there's no trade. I made a mistake. Look at my notes. My timestamp's a little further. Pushes, looks like it's bouncing pretty well. So it looks like a visual first entry, pullback, second entry. This is actually this is where I took the trade. So it looks like it's a higher low. It's a first entry, second entry. Keep in mind this green down channel doesn't exist yet. It looks like it was 2 legs down. It attempted. It looks like it failed. The way I have it drawn here, which may have been incorrect. Let me go ahead and expand this out a bit. It may or may not have been incorrect. It may or may not, excuse me. It may or may not have been correct. So first entry long pullback looks like a visual second entry. And then I saw a potential bounce off this yellow up channel support. EMA seems to be holding. It's a great looking signal bar. Granted, this is a terrible bar right before. I don't have this channel drawn yet. Looks like it was 2 attempts down, 1 attempt up, pullback. Green up channel needs to test the high. So I entered right at the high. I'm hoping for a quick 1 point scalp. I'm not that confident of taking 2 necessarily because it's at 67.34, and you can see the high is at 67.37.50. So yes, there is enough room for a 2 point scalp, but I'm not too sure. It hits a sideways, hits another sideways. My stop's actually below this bar, comes back down, almost stops me out, and finally it stops me out. So later I draw this, but in real time I don't know or to even think about putting this. Let me clean it up a bit. Putting this blue down channel support in play. So it's hard for me to know when I see this, I was going into resistance. Now, I did enter at the highs of this. If I had entered 1 tick above, I don't know if the outcome would have been different because it may have filled me. So I would have been entered 1 tick higher and then lost 1 more tick. So seeing this, I thought it was a good trade. In hindsight, I kind of thought it might have been an okay trade. Keep in mind this blue down channel doesn't exist yet. And then later I did draw it when I saw it. It kind of revealed itself. So I feel like I got caught. I'm not super down on myself on this particular trade. I think if I saw it, I might have taken it again because this yellow up channel just looks so strong. What you could argue for or take away from the trade setup is there's potential breakout here. So maybe this had an effect. But I also thought about that because I thought this is a small break. This could be the small break, but the strength of testing the high of this green up channel plus the strength of this yellow up channel might be enough to get me that quick 1 scalp. But in this case, I was wrong. Drops around, and I was 1 tick below here. If I tried to do 2 ticks or drifted the stop down, one of these guys would have definitely stopped me out. So here actually makes the measured leg, 1 leg down, pull back, second leg down, makes the measured move. Seems like it's hitting support, but I would be reluctant to take a trade now because I have clearly found that this is potentially the blue down channel that it's following. Pushes up, first entry short, pushes up. Technically you have a second entry short here, but it's really far away from the setup. It's making new highs. I'm just sitting and waiting. Looks like you had a first entry long, count resets. Now it's a second entry long, but it's actually only a first entry long. Breaks out, pushes up to the high. You do have a second entry long here, but it's a doji far from the EMA. It just seems really risky because you're pressing against the high to try to go long again, and you're far from the EMA. Pushes up, technically you have a new high, first entry long. You do have a second entry long here, but it feels congested because you just came in side by side, and what I saw here, it's like a first entry long pullback, second entry long. The second entry long, because initially I had my trading range, I had my trading range down here. So in real time, when I saw this was what I was working with. First entry long pullback, second entry long broke out of this, unlike this one where it stayed within. This one clearly broke with outside, and it broke below the EMA. Closed nicely, but I was thinking this is my trading range. I would be buying into the highs. Technically the highs is right here, but the high of what I think most of the price action's obeying. Then actually pushes up, comes back down, and I saw a second chance. It looked like it made a double bottom. You can't really say it's a triple test necessarily because this actually launched from here. So it's actually the first test down, second test, but I was tempted, but I didn't like that there's this stem here. The stem that actually coincidentally lands right at where I think the resistance is. So it's something I saw. I thought there was a second chance to try to take it, but I didn't want to. Prices move up, kind of bounces around. First entry short. Technically I have a second entry short. It's not a good signal bar. At this point, I was thinking, actually, this could be maybe the trading range, and this was the midline of the trading range. But this didn't change the fact that in real time, this bar looks like it's going to hit either the midline or what I thought at the time was the top of the range. So it kind of looks like it's visual 2 first entry, second entry. I'm reluctant to even take a visual second entry short because clearly the bullet bias is bullish all day. So I'm not really waiting or willing to take a counter trend trade. So push it down, break this red down channel, first entry long, pull back, test and makes a new low. If this signal bar had just closed bullish, then it'd be a nice triple test. So 1 touch, 2 touch, ideally a 3rd touch. Even though it broke below, I wanted more of a hammer, like if the body was up here. But it happened to close where I drew my trend, where I drew my trading range. The body closed outside, so I had to wait. I wanted a higher low now. So pushes up. You don't get a higher low. You get a higher low here, but it feels like it's moved too far. Plus, it's a doji. Just didn't like that. Pushes up and out. Hits this consolidation area again. Moves up this orange up channel. No clean second entries. Hits the sideways consolidation. You do have a second entry long here, but it's a little ambiguous to me. Plus, it's far from the EMA. No other real clear entry points. Pushes down. First entry long. Pull back. You technically have a second entry long. I needed a better signal bar than this, especially if it's below the EMA. Green down channel has tested the low, but this is just feeling dicey. First entry short, technically you have a second entry short. This might have been a viable setup because the high of my trading range could have actually been down here. The problem with this trade is it's really late in the day now. It's only 10 minutes left because it happens at 12:50 Pacific Standard. Although I took a loss, and I really want to get that loss back, I had to fight my tendency of wanting to pretty much punch back and get something back from it. But I also knew there was a fail breakout here. There could be a potential fail breakout up here. Plus, counting the time of day, it's just something I have to leave alone. But even if it was during regular trading hours, this fail breakout makes me concerned that there might be one up here. Plus, I didn't draw it, but I should have. I was thinking there might be a shortened trend channel here. Something like this. It's not the best fitting. So when I see this, could there be a breakout and another attempt up? I don't know, but it didn't really matter. It was at the end of the day. Kind of pushes and moves into the close. So despite this really nice leg up and then this other really nice orange leg up, I didn't see any clean or safe way, at least with my experience, to enter this trade to try to take advantage of this. Because if you're able to get in on any of this, especially like maybe right here, you probably would have gotten a nice runner, or even down here, would have gotten a nice runner. But the lack of a good signal bar kind of discounted some of those setups for me. So hopefully that was helpful.